The wisdom of silence. Silence. It's uncomfortable for most people. The pause in a conversation, the stillness after an argument, the quiet moments when you're left alone with your thoughts. But to the Stoics, silence was never empty. It was full of strength, full of clarity, full of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And where do thoughts grow strongest? In silence. We live in a noisy world, where everyone is shouting opinions, chasing attention, and filling every moment with distraction. Yet the ones who know how to hold silence often hold the most power. In this reflection, we'll uncover 5 Stoic lessons about silence. Lessons that guard your mind, reveal truth, build self-mastery, protect peace, and command respect. So if you've ever wondered why silence feels heavy or why it carries such authority, this is for you. Take a deep breath. Step into the quiet. Let's explore the wisdom of silence together. Part 1. Silence guards your mind. The first Stoic lesson is this: silence is a shield for your mind. When you speak too quickly, you reveal your thoughts before they are ready. You hand others the power to judge, twist, or use your words against you. But when you stay silent, you keep control. You protect your inner world from unnecessary exposure. Epictetus warned, "Be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary." He understood that silence is not weakness. It is discipline. Think about how often people regret what they said in anger, but rarely regret what they chose not to say. Silence prevents the kind of self-inflicted wounds that careless words create. In a world that rewards noise, guarding your mind with silence feels unnatural. But it is precisely in that restraint that strength is built. Like a warrior holding his shield, you choose not to expose yourself to every arrow that flies. The Stoic does not fear silence. He uses it. He lets it buy him time to think, to clarify, to choose his response carefully. Because once your words leave your mouth, they cannot be taken back. But when you hold silence, your power remains yours. So when in doubt, say less. Protect your mind. Let silence do the guarding. Part 2. Silence reveals truth. The second Stoic lesson. Silence does not just protect, it reveals. When you stay silent, you start to hear what is usually hidden. You notice the tone behind the words, the hesitation in someone's voice, the contradictions in their story. Truth often slips out in the spaces people think no one is listening. Seneca wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life." He knew that silence sharpens your perception. It turns you into an observer rather than just a participant. Most people rush to fill silence with noise because silence feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is where clarity emerges. In the quiet, you begin to see people as they are, not as they pretend to be. You begin to see yourself, too, your fears, your patterns, your truths. Think of silence like still water. When the surface is calm, the reflection is clear. When it is stirred with constant chatter, you can't see what lies beneath. The Stoic uses silence as a mirror, not just to watch others, but to understand himself. Because in truth, most of the lies we battle are the ones we tell ourselves. So listen more. Speak less. In the silence, truth has no place to hide. Part 3. Silence strengthens self-control. Silence is not weakness, it is strength, because it requires mastery over yourself. Most people speak from impulse, They react in anger, defend from insecurity, or brag from pride. But words once spoken cannot be taken back. They shape relationships, reputations, and even destiny. The Stoics taught that true freedom is the ability to rule yourself, and nothing reveals that more clearly than your control over your tongue. Epictetus said, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." But most reverse this. They speak first and regret later. When you choose silence, you are not suppressing yourself. You are training yourself. You are showing that your emotions do not command you, that your ego does not drag you into every battle, that your peace is worth more than the last word. Think of a fire. If you pour fuel, anger, gossip, impulsive speech, it grows wild. But if you withhold, the flames starve. Silence is that restraint. It keeps your energy intact. The world will often provoke you, poke at your pride, question your worth, try to pull you into noise. But every time you stay silent, you win a small victory over yourself. And those victories compound into strength. The Stoic does not waste his words. He measures them. And in that discipline, he becomes unshakable. Part 4. Silence creates presence. Silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of awareness, full of life. Most people drift through their days lost in noise. They scroll, they chatter, they fill every quiet moment with distraction. But in doing so, they miss the only place where life actually happens. Here, now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." And silence is the doorway into that present. When you are silent, you notice the details, the breath moving in your chest, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the subtle expressions on another's face. You become alive to reality instead of trapped in thought. Think of two people in conversation. One speaks endlessly, filling space with words. The other listens deeply, silently, fully present. Who has more influence? Who is truly there? Silence slows you down. It anchors you. It teaches you that life is not a race to be explained, but an experience to be felt. In silence, you realize peace was never missing. It was simply drowned out by noise. Presence is power, and silence creates it. Part 5. Silence protects peace. Peace is fragile. It can be shattered by arguments, poisoned by gossip, or stolen by the chaos of other people's noise. That's why the Stoics treated silence as a shield. Seneca warned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And many of those imagined sufferings are born from words spoken in anger, words overheard, words repeated in endless circles of talk. Silence protects you. It gives you space to step back before reacting, to let the fire of anger burn out instead of spreading. When you stay silent, you don't give your enemies weapons to use against you. You don't waste energy feeding arguments that lead nowhere. Think of a person who always needs the last word. They exhaust themselves trying to win noise. But the one who keeps silent, they conserve strength. And often, they win without lifting a finger. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It is knowing that your peace is more valuable than proving a point. When you choose silence, you choose yourself. You choose calm over chaos, clarity over conflict, peace over pride. And that choice is freedom. Part 6. Silence speaks louder than words. There are moments when silence says everything words cannot. a pause after betrayal, a quiet withdrawal from disrespect, a refusal to argue when the truth is already clear. The Stoics believed that silence carries a kind of power words rarely hold. Epictetus reminded his students, "Be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary." Why? Because silence doesn't just avoid trouble, it communicates strength. When you stay silent, people notice. They project their own meaning into the quiet. Some feel guilt, some feel respect. Some finally hear what they ignored when you spoke. Think of a time when someone gave you no reaction, didn't defend, didn't explain, just withdrew into calm. Didn't it linger in your mind longer than if they had shouted back? That's the paradox. Silence echoes. It tells the world you cannot be pulled into every battle, that you value your energy more than being understood, that you don't need noise to prove your worth. Silence speaks of dignity, of restraint, of a presence so steady it cannot be shaken by words. Sometimes the loudest answer is no answer at all. Silence. It is not emptiness. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. The Stoics understood that silence guards your mind, reveals the truth, strengthens your self-control, creates presence, protects your peace, and sometimes speaks louder than any words could. When the world pushes you to react, remember, you don't always have to. The most powerful reply can be the one you never give. Seneca once wrote, "It is better to conquer our tongue than to conquer whole cities, because words may win arguments, but silence wins respect." So the next time anger rises, the next time someone tests your patience, the next time life shakes your balance, pause, breathe, choose silence, not as escape, but as strength. And if this reflection spoke to you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel and join me for the next step on this Stoic path. Because your journey to wisdom doesn't stop at silence. It only begins there. Stay steady, stay present, and let silence guide you.